This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule. The verdict is in for the young man painted as a then 17-year-old vigilante who showed up to protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin with a gun, killing 2 people. And a former Bakersfield college student and activist, once arrested by ICE after reading a poem before the Board of Supervisors, has been arrested in connection to a murder. And COVID-19 boosters could soon be approved for all Americans after the FDA gives the green light. Those stories and more on this Friday, November 19th, 2021. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Maddie Jansen. And we begin with national news this afternoon. The verdict is in for 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, who killed 2 men during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin nearly 15 months ago.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the third count,
Rittenhouse, 18, was found not guilty on all counts. The killings happened during the protests over the shooting days earlier of a black man, Jacob Blake, by a white Kenosha police officer. During the trial, the prosecution tried to paint Rittenhouse as a then 17-year-old vigilante, but the defense said the teen showed up at the protest to protect businesses and only fired the shots in self-defense. The Wisconsin governor pleaded for calm but deployed 500 National Guard members in anticipation of post-verdict protests. Back here at home in your 17 Crime Watch, the Bakersfield Police Department arrested a former BC student activist for a Tulare County murder during a standoff last night in East Bakersfield. Around 5 p.m. on Monterey Street near Alta Vista Drive, BPD arrested 24-year-old Jose Omar Bello Reyes and 38-year-old Henry Venegas. BPD says during the arrest, Bello tried to evade police when a canine was sent loose. He was taken to a local hospital and treated for minor wounds. After being cleared from the hospital, he was transferred into the custody of the Tulare County Sheriff's Office. Bello is a former student activist who was arrested by ICE just 36 hours after reading a poem before the Board of Supervisors criticizing ICE in 2019. Tulare County Sheriff's detectives believe Bello, along with 2 other men, killed a man from Washington who was in Tulare to pick up a large amount of drugs from a person known as Chapo. Detectives also say the victim owed a large debt to Chapo. Venegas, who was also arrested last night, had an unrelated arrest warrant for attempted murder and robbery in Bakersfield on November 6th. And while you were sleeping, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy set a record for the longest magic minute speech in U.S. history of the House chamber, speaking for more than 8 hours straight.
Madam Speaker, I don't mean to keep bothering you, but this one's good.
This all came before a House vote on President Biden's Build Back Better bill. Democrats in the House headed into Thursday night expecting victory. They didn't get it, at least not immediately. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy delivered an hours-long speech on the House floor, delaying passage of a multi-million-dollar spending bill, a cornerstone of President Biden's agenda. The Build Back Better bill allocates money to fight climate change, lower health care costs, and expand family care. McCarthy wrapped up around 3 a.m. our time to a standing ovation from House Republicans. But just a few hours later, House Democrats were back at it. They passed the bill following a party line vote. The massive $1.7 trillion social safety net bill passed by a margin of 7 votes. The bill now heads to the Senate, where it will likely undergo some changes before a vote is held in that chamber. The latest jobs numbers for Kern County were released this morning. They show that the unemployment rate in Kern was 8.3% in October, just last month. That's down from a revised 8.7% in September. That's also far below the year-ago estimate of 10.6%. The unadjusted unemployment rate was 6.1% for California and 4.3% for the country during the same period. 5,600 jobs were added last month in Kern, according to the latest report.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Now to a high-profile court case with Los Angeles-based attorneys asking Kern County to allow them to continue to represent the man charged with the rape and murder of 13-year-old Patricia Alatorre. Attorneys Thomas Requejo and Joel G. Garcia say they've gained the confidence of Armando Cruz and his family over the past year and a half and are, quote, quite familiar with the case. The attorneys say the 25-year-old Cruz was underemployed and living with his family at the time of his arrest, and they're asking the county to pay them as the case moves forward. They've filed a motion which states new counsel would lead to delays and that it's in the courts and Cruz's best interest they remain counsel. If Requejo and Garcia aren't appointed, the Public Defender's Office or Indigent Defense Program would represent Cruz. Cruz is accused of raping and strangling Alatorre to death after driving from Inglewood and picking her up near her Bakersfield home in July of last year. He's due back in court next week. He could face the death penalty if convicted. Big news now in the fight against the pandemic. The FDA has given its approval for use of booster doses of both the Moderna and Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines for everyone over 18. The next step, the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee will need to sign off before a rollout of the booster shots can begin. A reminder, everyone over 18 in California is already eligible for boosters due to state guidance. And we continue to track a slow decline of new COVID-19 cases in Kern County, but we are learning of more deaths each day. Public Health reported another 12 new deaths yesterday and 333 new cases of the virus. The situation in our hospitals continues to improve as we head into the holidays. 174 people are being treated in local hospitals for the virus. That's 26 fewer patients than reported yesterday. And 44 people are in the ICU. Education news this afternoon. Open enrollment for the spring semester is now underway at Bakersfield College, and officials say there's a full lineup of courses available. Returning students will need to complete an update form by logging into their Inside BC account to obtain a registration date and time. First-time students can enroll by visiting the Bakersfield College website. For a link, visit kget.com. Meantime, we are saddened to report this morning one of Bakersfield College's best-known, best-loved educators has passed. Jack Hernandez, a longtime college professor, inaugural director of the Levin Center for Lifelong Learning, and in retirement, the Dagny's coffee shop poet, died Wednesday at the age of 84. The campus icon arrived in Bakersfield in 1961 and stayed at BC for his entire professional career. During his 41 years on campus, he was an English and philosophy teacher and dean of students. He later served as vice chancellor of the Kern Community College District, as well as, in retirement, starting in 2007, the founding director of the Levin Center and, unofficially, BC's resident philosopher. Nikki Damania, BC's dean of students, says Hernandez will be missed. Back now on your 17 Health Watch this morning, and Houchin Community Blood Bank is once again putting out the call for blood donations, saying local hospitals are in critical need. They're asking for all blood types, but platelets and O-type blood supplies are running the lowest. To donate, you can call 323-4222 or visit hcbb.com to set up an appointment. You can also just walk on in. Adventist Health Bakersfield is teaming up with the Sick Women's Association to provide free breast cancer screenings this weekend. It's happening Sunday, 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 7000 Weibel Road. It is open to everyone, free of cost. And looking ahead, Thanksgiving is just around the corner, as we just mentioned, and several local groups are making sure families have a holiday meal. Upside Academy and Fat Wing Inc. are hosting their 5th annual free community drive-thru turkey giveaway. You can pick one up tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. until they're gone. It's happening at Greater Harvest Church on Aldrin Court. Each family receives one frozen turkey combined with canned food items and more. Organizers just ask that you stay in your vehicles and practice social distancing. And a reminder, from free meals to volunteer opportunities, we have all of the local Thanksgiving events happening ahead of the holiday, listed on our website. Just visit kget.com and click the hot link icon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.